Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Techfall Tabletalks. I'm your host, Julius Grit, and it's going to be a very short episode. I just want to talk about something phenomenal that happened within the wrestling community. Well, you know what? It's phenomenal considering the participants involved. But honestly, if you're from New York and you've been wrestling for any long period of time and you've gone against any high-level wrestlers or gone to any high-level tournaments or things of that such, then this really shouldn't be very much of a surprise. But it does not at all diminish the accomplishment that was made, both of the accomplishments. So, November 12th, 2022, there was a high-level college team, I'd say round robin going on, called Wrangle Mania, but they also featured a couple of high-level high school matches. So you had two New York wrestlers going against one Pennsylvania wrestler, and in the other match, I don't know who the other wrestler was, what state he was from. Maybe I should go look that up later on, but as of right now, as of recording, I don't have that knowledge. But the wrestlers involved were PJ Duke from New York, I believe Section 1, Max Gallagher, who I've spoken about before. I've spoken about both of them before. Max Gallagher is from Section 11, right out there in Long Island, Suffolk County. And the one Pennsylvania wrestler that Max Gallagher wrestled against was Mason Gibson. PJ Duke also wrestled against a very high-level wrestler, but I don't know that wrestler's name. I don't have any knowledge of that wrestler. But what happened was, it was just a premier high school match against a couple of the best wrestlers some of the best wrestlers in the country, right? So Mason Gibson from Pennsylvania, he was at the time, I believe still is in a way, ranked number 2. I don't know if your ranking drops or whatever when someone beats you. Does it depend on what tournament it is or something like that? I don't know. But all I know is that Mason Gibson went into this match ranked number 2 in the country. I don't know what would take away or heighten his ranking, I'm not sure. But for this, he's ranked number 2, which is phenomenal. If you're ranked top anything in any sport or anything, you know that's phenomenal. So, Mason Gibson ranked number 2. We all know who Mason Gibson is. He's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal wrestler. Cornell commit. And there was another wrestler at 152 pounds, who's number 1 in the country. That's the guy I don't have any knowledge of. But PJ Duke, we all know, very good in his own right. Now, on episode 46, back when I recorded that episode, it's still up here on YouTube. I suggest you guys go check that out to have some more context on this. But I talked all about Max Gallagher, all about PJ Duke, their accolades. They both recently won a state title. Max Gallagher is coming off of 2 All-American performances. I believe PJ Duke won another Super 32 title this past Super 32 tournament. So, the pedigree for these guys is insane. PJ Duke went out there. He beat the number 1 152-pound ranked wrestler in the country. PJ Duke winning is no surprise for me. We all know how phenomenal PJ Duke is. But the fact that he bumped up 2 weight classes, all right? He won a state title, New York state title, at 138 pounds. He bumped up 2 weight classes and took out the number 1 ranked wrestler. That says enough right there. Now, I wish I could talk more about that, but I don't have knowledge of the other wrestlers, so I literally can't say very much, but that in itself is phenomenal. Again, we know how great PJ Duke is, but for anybody to do that and take out somebody that's one of the best in the nation, come on. That's PJ Duke doing what he did. Congratulations, PJ. That's phenomenal. And Max Gallagher, here's what Max, he does it, he's so consistent. He keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. Here's what Max Gallagher does. He goes against Mason Gibson. The match goes into overtime. He took him down. He got him down. He did it. There were some seconds left, but he did it. He did it in overtime. Excuse me about the seconds left part. I made a mistake there, but it was in overtime, and he did it. Now I don't have the video in front of me right now, but it was some sort of like a, it was an exchange. Max didn't just go up in there and just take him down in overtime. No, there was an exchange going on, and Max kind of hipped over him, and he was able to secure his two. He was able to do it. He had to fight very hard for that, but he was able to do it. I believe the score of the match, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was, I'm going to say it was 5-3. I'm going to say that. I could be wrong about that. Again, I don't have it in front of me, but I saw the video, the little clip. I saw a clip on social media of the end of that match in overtime, and Max, he did what he did. There was an exchange going on, and Max did what he did. But the thing is that, man, Mason Gibson, he's known for being as phenomenal as he is, but Max Gallagher, man, and the whole point, the point of what I'm trying to say is this, right, before I start rambling. Again, people keep, a lot of wrestlers, I don't hear New York being mentioned very often, and you guys can go back to episode 46 if you wanted more context, but I talked about Max Gallagher, I talked about PJ Duke, I talked about the KD Training Center, which is where they train at. That's their club, aside from their high school teams, right? So, and KD, phenomenal trainer, phenomenal coach. The guys that come out of his club, just, look at the names I mentioned, right? And both of them were able to do this, but they both represent New York. That's what I'm trying to say. Max is from Long Island, PJ Duke's from upstate, the club is in Yonkers, the KD Training Center, which is right off the Bronx. And you guys know I live in the Bronx, so if I take a rock and throw it really hard, it'll land in Yonkers. That's how close I am. But people say Pennsylvania, Ohio, Iowa, New Jersey, right? They love to talk about New Jersey being the best. People say that, but again, this is another example. And this is why I keep saying time and time again, and I'm going to end off with this. This is why I keep saying time and time again, New York wrestling deserves more credit. Now, I'm going to keep this short. If you want more context of what I'm saying, go back and look at episode 46. I explain thoroughly about the KD Training Center and some of the top guys in New York, including Max Gallagher and PJ Duke. But it's just another example of New York wrestling, not getting the credit that we deserve. And I think right now, with PJ Duke and Max Gallagher, I think they just, put New York wrestling a little bit higher on the totem pole. Again, I'm not saying we're the best. I said this in episode 46. I'm not saying we're the best, but we definitely have guys that, if they're not already, they're surely becoming the best. So congratulations to Max Gallagher. Congratulations to PJ Duke. Keep rocking it. You guys are definitely one of the best in the country, and you guys are just phenomenal wrestlers. I never met these guys in person, but from what I see in interviews and such, they're phenomenal people, and they work extremely hard, and they're definitely a great representation of New York wrestling. So that's all I got to say here. Stay tuned for the next episode.